everyone. My name is TevhoBend. I'm welcoming you all to Bend and Friends for 2024. So, what went on this year? We obviously took YouTube a lot more seriously. That is a thing I started doing this year. I put a lot of focus into the YouTube channel. I've got some great videos because of it. Be Cringe, Be Free, Call of Duty Black Ops Retrospective, 2XCal. In fact, every video from that onwards are probably my best video. I struggled with editing for a bit, and I got better at editing, and I got better with the style of commentary I wanted to do. So, it's been an interesting year. I also transitioned from Guilty Gear shitposting to traditional TevhoBend episodes like I did when I originally started uploading, and I'd say it turned out well. I am at 101 subscribers as of the time I'm recording this video, which means I'm at over 100, which means my dick is massive. Not only that, but I've focused on life a lot this year. As you can tell, I moved. I am employed again. Yeah, sucks. I know I have to be a fully grown adult. Sucks. So I'm employed again. I have fixed my social life. I'm still learning with each new day. I'm still trying to be a better person because I do fuck up occasionally. There's a lot of friendships, a lot of relationships this year. But hey, I mean, I'm no longer filled with hate, I'm no longer filled with depression, and I'm very optimistic towards the future, and I feel that's needed with today's world. But before I go any further, what even is Bend and Friends? Well, I'll tell you right now. Bend and Friends is a Game of the Year award show that I, TevhoBend, hold with my community. So the weird thing about my community is it's not all just YouTubers, it's like Twitch streamers, it's people who aren't even really active on social media. And it definitely like bleeds into the type of like content I make, because I try to appeal to the people who like me rather than the algorithm. The best part about Bend and Friends is the fact I can get those type of content creators or non-content creators and put them on this channel, because there's going to be 3 members this year, 1 returning member from last year, then there's 1 brand new member who I met through Call of Duty, and then there is 1 member who hasn't been seen on the channel since I think June, and was in the February 2024 Nintendo Direct. Then after that, I'll be giving my opinions. So yeah, we do have 1 less guest this year, but fuck it, who cares? Who cares? I don't really have much else to say. Thank you guys for getting me over 100 subscribers, and I appreciate you guys watching till the end of this year. Which, I guess we'll just get straight on into this.
Hello everyone, my name is Swoosh, or SwooshBear, and I was invited by Tevho to talk about my games of the year for 2024. I'm someone who plays a wide variety of games, whether it be retro games to modern games, anything from FPSs, RPGs, platformers, action-adventure games, you name it. There's only a few things I don't really like to play. Things like strategy games, sports games, and garbage like Dr. Mario. The first category is Best Gameplay, and for that, we're going to give it to Animal Well. Animal Well is an indie Metroidvania game that is all about vibes and substance. The game looks and sounds amazing, but it's really in how it approaches the Metroidvania-type gameplay that I really love. It is very much a show-don't-tell game. There is no exact right or wrong path to go. It is a very open game for you to fully explore and test out your abilities. It seems simple, but as you progress, you get more items, experience other characters and NPCs, and it really is a game that doesn't really look or feel like any other game I've played. When I finished this game, I had to rush and get the Nintendo Switch version that came out from Limited Run Games, so I have 2 copies of this game, and frankly, it's worth it. If you like Metroidvanias, or games that just have a really cool look and feel, and puzzle games that really challenge you at times, but aren't too difficult, Animal Well really fits all of those boxes. It is a fantastic game, and probably my favorite indie game of the year. The next category is Best Narrative, and Best Narrative goes to probably my overall game of the year, and that is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Final Fantasy VII is my favorite RPG of all time. I'm old enough in that it is the first game that really opened me up to RPGs and really showed me how games can make you feel. These are my comfort characters. I love Final Fantasy VII, and the way that this game has really modernized and adapted a lot of these legacy characters for a more modern lens to make them feel and act like real people, and how the story and everything blends together is just phenomenal work. I'm very excited for Part 3 to see how everything gets all tied together, and I really think it's something truly special. This game is just phenomenal, has amazing replayability, even with its very narrative-focused structure for a large part of the game. But the way it tells the story really blew me away, and that's why Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is my best narrative of 2024. Best Soundtrack is going to a game that I was not expecting to give a Best Soundtrack award to, but surprisingly, that's going to be Astrobot. Astrobot is a 3D platformer by Sony that has a lot of homage to Sony's properties all throughout its history. And this game is just really tied together with a really tight gameplay loop, graphics, visuals, all that. But the soundtrack is really what surprised me the most. It has a huge variety of level design, and the soundtrack really fits a lot of those vibes. No two songs sound alike. And that is something I generally have criticism for in a lot of these more orchestra-focused soundtracks, is that they all sound very samey, whereas this game, so many different songs really stand out and get stuck in your head even when you're not playing. For me, Astrobot really pushes it beyond, because there are levels in the game, no spoils, there are levels in the game that do reference other Sony properties in more detail, we'll say, so they bring some of those games' signature motifs and put it into the songs to really heighten it. So you'll hear melodies from other Sony games in the songs while you're playing the game, and it's just so cool! Astrobot is amazing. If you love 3D platforming, you have to play it. Astrobot gets my best soundtrack of 2024. Best multiplayer for this year was really tricky, because I didn't really play a lot of multiplayer games, but for me, I'm going to give it to a little early access game called Delta Force. And the reason I played Delta Force was, 1, it was free, and 2, it's basically like old Battlefield. If you played Battlefield 3 for that era of Battlefield, this game feels like that, but just faster paced. You have the same type of classes, the same type of attack modes, vehicles, all that. It feels so good to get back to an FPS that really feels and captures like that older era of Battlefield. A franchise that I used to really like that has really just kind of whimpered out and died as time has gone on, unfortunately. Delta Force is free, and it's really fun. It was an early access, it's going to come out later at the end of the year for like a full release, I believe. But if you like that faster-paced, class-based FPS stuff, Delta Force is up there. And for me, it was my best multiplayer of the year. And lastly, the best game this year I played that was not released in 2024 is actually another Final Fantasy game. But it's Final Fantasy VI. Final Fantasy VI is the game that has been on my backlog the longest. It is the greatest RPG that I've never played, is what I've told people for years. And I finally sat down and played it. The Super Nintendo original is what I'm playing, and it's one of those games where what everybody said is true. This game is phenomenal, outstanding. It really shows how much it has pushed how games tell their stories, because this game does it so early on a Super Nintendo cartridge, and can tell such really adult, compelling themes with its characters. The sprite work is phenomenal, the music is phenomenal, everything is so expressive. There is so much openness in what you can do and really play the game at your pace. This is one of the finest RPGs I have ever played, and that is why it is my personal best game of the year that was not released in 2024. And hey, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. My name is SwooshBear, or SwooshXBear on YouTube. I cover a lot of retro and modern games, generally reviews monthly, and later in December I will be doing a full-fledged video of my overall games of the year for 2024. So you can hear my more intense thoughts on Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, or get to hear about the games I didn't get to mention today, like Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, and things like that. But I do want to give a huge shout out to Tevho. Thank you so much for inviting me to talk about my games of the year this year, and all you listening, be sure to subscribe to Tevho. Please. He made me say that. No, I'm just kidding. I guess I should make sure Dr. Mario's okay. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Hello there everyone, it's Saffron 38 here. And this year I'm going to be partnering with TevhoBend, bringing you some of my Game of the Year picks. Well, I can't really say I stuck to a genre or anything specifically. I basically went all over the board, especially this year, seeing as, well, not that much time for doing what anyone really wants, but yeah. Okay, well, my first pick, of course, is going to be Frostpunk 2 for best gameplay. The reason why I had to go with this choice is because I absolutely love my city builder and city planning games, and with this one, you're basically focusing on a whole statewide, where on the previous one you focused on the nitty-gritty things, but this one is in a bigger scale. You're focusing on districts and politics, pollution, sickness, all of that taking place in little districts that you have to build and organize and everything, and I absolutely found that amazing. And with the resource management as well, the game can be tough but rewarding and, well, surprisingly exciting to play through, especially with all the different branches you can take. With the relationship with the political parties, for instance, all of them have peculiar things that they want to go down the research branches. Some of them prefer more eco-friendly options, where other ones, they want a big deal in this game for some reason is child labor. Some of the parties just really love trying to use children as much as they can in the workforce, but, well, it is a post-apocalyptic city builder, so, well, whatever goes, goes, some might say. And to be honest, with the whole political structure of the whole game, I kind of find it interesting, especially when it gets to the voting. To approve certain laws in this one, in the previous one you can just decree a law and make a choice, but in this one you actually have to go through and bring up a idea. You have to pronounce it to the city and saying, okay, this is what I want to implement. You can either go through and convince parties to switch over to your side, or you can just leave it and see what they want to choose. Because if you, with the different parties, there are different majorities. If you want to issue a law and it's against the majority but to a specific niche group, that group's not going to be enough to support your choices. So you can go to bigger groups and ask them to support this by giving them either their own law that you'll pass, by also going through the voting process, or by making other choices in the research branch to fit their agendas. And for the second category, best narrative, I had to go with the remaster of Silent Hill 2. To be honest, I had my doubts in the beginning. It kind of seemed like this might turn into a tie wreck, and I know I wasn't the only one who had my doubts, but to be honest, I was pleasantly surprised. In a way, I would say it's actually a bit better narratively exploring everything. It had some few tweaks here and there that it could have gone with, but to be honest, it explores the themes very well, and I absolutely just love the story of it. Of course, I'm going to be spoiler free. This is a review trying to convince you guys to play this by yourselves. So you literally focus on the whole psychological aspect, where in the story you had some bad choices and the town is trying to lead you to them. So most of the creatures are physically focused on your main character James's psychological issues and stuff that he needs to work through, and this story explores some very dark themes, so just make sure you actually have the stomach for that. But to be honest, I absolutely enjoyed revisiting Silent Hill 2, a classic. Okay, so let's move on to the best soundtrack. Unfortunately, I had to go with the DLC. Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree DLC is like a whole new game on its own, and to be honest, the soundtrack is just on a whole different level, to be honest. I absolutely love these type of game soundtracks, especially in this one. You're literally, aside from the story and everything, just focusing on the soundtrack. Some of the times it literally hypes you up, it just makes you immersed in a little bit more in the story and in the world. And some of the fights, it absolutely pumps you up, and it just makes you very excited for the fights. Some of the songs actually relay a little bit of the feeling of the bosses while you're fighting them, as they're progressing, as their world's being broken down by this ring bearer trying to come and take over. Well, it's not the ring bearer, but yeah. To be honest, it's just something you have to experience. Some of them are even providing some of the actual story behind the bosses. I have to recommend you give it a chance. Okay, and for our penultimate choice, we're going with best multiplayer. I chose Black Ops 6 for obvious reasons. It just released around the corner, and to be honest, it's the only multiplayer game I've actually played. So yeah, to be honest, I absolutely love the new Omni movement in it. It's a bit, well, overrated, I should say, but it makes it sometimes a bit fun. I don't really use it as often as some of the other people, but it's a niche thing, so we'll see if it actually picks up or not. But yeah, to be honest, I absolutely loved the classic feel and the classic look of the game. It brings me back to the Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2 days, in a way. So it made someone like me who used to play the older Call of Duties actually a little bit more excited to come back to it, especially for just the multiplayer. It still needs some fixes here and there again. For example, the matchmaking is horrible. In one match you do good, then they put you against some of the world's best players. One match you do bad, and then they put you against people who just started playing. So it's still a little bit finicky. I had some problems with the textures loading in, especially if it's on the kill cam. Some of the people's weapons just don't load in at all, the textures, so you don't see anything. And I had some latency issues where when I tried sniping, I shoot the guy and then it just doesn't kill him or doesn't even hit him, even though it was supposed to be head on. But I think that will be something that's going to be improved on in the future. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this one, so yeah, I would definitely recommend for the people who haven't played Call of Duty in a while that this is a good enough return for some of us. Okay, and for the last category we have Best Game Before 2024. I had to go with Cyberpunk 2077. I absolutely love the new release because of the DLC that finally came out. Some of the fixes were a whole lot better. It absolutely improved the game and actually gave us something that we can enjoy. It was so much of an improvement compared to what it released on. The game absolutely looks stunning. It even runs better on older hardware. On the example I gave, it doesn't really run the best, but also I'm using a laptop with a 3060 GPU in the laptop one, so it's not that great. I'm struggling to run most modern games with it as is, but yeah, to be honest, it was actually very fun revisiting, and I've spent a lot of time in this new DLC and I absolutely loved it. I would definitely recommend just giving it another chance, and even if you didn't give it a chance in the first place due to the bad reviews, just give it a chance. It's not as bad as most people actually make it out to be.
Alright, it's that time of the year again. I wasn't in the last one, but I was looking forward to this one, and I put it off to the last minute, and yeah, I don't really have much to talk about. Alright, so first, best gameplay, that's definitely going to have to be SMT5 Vengeance. Now, I played the original SMT5 when it first came out on the Switch, and I gotta say, Vengeance is better in literally every capacity. Like the story, it makes some sense now, and we got rid of that stupid fucking level cap thing. Yeah, the new characters are good, and yeah, this all I really had to say about it. It's just a good fucking game. I like the Vengeance route. The new endings aren't really that good, but yeah, it's fucking SMP. What'd you expect? Alright, and best narrative. This is the first one I got to cheat for. It's Shadow of the Erdtree, the Elden Ring DLC. So technically not a game, but I didn't play much this year. I gotta do it. So yeah, it's just more Elden Ring. It's really big and bigger than we were expecting, and it's really fucking hard too, but it's worth it. And all the bosses are really good. Some of them, except for the Sunflower. It's stupid. Alright, best soundtrack. Now, okay, I haven't played it yet. I haven't gotten it yet. But it's gonna be Dragon Quest III HD. And the reason for that is because it's just a nice orchestral soundtrack. Like the original, but redone. I don't got much to say about it. It's just a nice soundtrack. The best multiplayer. This one's the biggest stretch. Guilty Gear Strive Season 3. Yeah, I had a real long hiatus from Guilty Gear, but then I sort of got back into it a bit recently sometime during Season 3, and yeah, it's I got back into it. I'm starting to pick up ABBA, but she's a little more complicated than Testament, but I'll get the hang of it. But yeah, I was really unprepared, didn't know what else to put. Alright, this one was the most surprising to me. The best game before 2024. Fortnite. Now, like, I don't fuck, like, during, like, Chapter 5, Season 1, as you all know, they put the Family Guy in the game. The Family Guy. I couldn't believe it. So I thought, alright, fuck it, I haven't played this game since middle school. I'll just make a new account and just get the Family Guy, and then just call it quits. But, nope, I've completed that battle pass, and, I've been playing it like almost like every day since, and just like I got sucked back into it. Like completely unexpectedly, and it's like a fucking way better game than it was back then. And I don't care what anyone says. If you think Chapter 1's better, you're a stupid and gay. Yeah, like it's just really fun just to play with friends and just throw on. And alright, that's my segment.
Alright, now it's time to give my opinions, because my opinions are the objective best. So best gameplay is a very weird pick. I'm gonna say Tetris Forever. I didn't play a lot of games that came out this year. It's not a thing I really did. And Tetris Forever is just a really fun compilation of Tetris games. It's missing a lot of classics you'd expect, like Game Boy Tetris or Famicom Tetris, Hengen Tetris, or fucking even throw in Genesis Tetris, or throw in something cool like Tetris Worlds, or whatever the one on GBA is. Like, just throw some of those in there, and I think it could have been a better compilation. But at the end of the day, it's Tetris, and it's really difficult to fuck up Tetris, and they didn't. So yeah, that's my pick for best gameplay. Best narrative? Well, I mean, I didn't really play any narrative-driven games this year. However, I will say Persona 3 Reload, because I did play Persona 3 Portable, and I can imagine Reload is just a better version of Portable. Now, the thing with Reload is it's Persona 3, but like completely ground-up remake. It's a from the ground up remake of Persona 3, so it keeps a lot of the story beats from Persona 3, but it's got the better storytelling of better character-driven stories of modern Atlas. It feels more like Persona 5 than Persona 3, which works in this game's context, because I don't even think it works in Persona 5's context. I'm a really big fan of the character designs, I'm a really big fan of the voice actors, I'm a really big fan of just everything in this game. I truly feel like this game is just Persona 3, but for vibe culture instead of mid-2000s emo culture, which is really cool because I like to vibe and smoke green tobacco. I can imagine with the extra narrative beats that everyone praises in this game, it's just a really good fucking game. Just that simple. And I can imagine the narrative is better than probably Persona 3. Yeah. By the way, Femc is the best protagonist, and you heard it straight from me. Best soundtrack? It's gotta go to Monster Hunter Stories. Now, I cheat once again, because Monster Hunter Stories, and I just keep moving my chair, Monster Hunter Stories came out in 2016 on the 3DS. But I also really don't fucking care, because I have nothing else to put. Monster Hunter Stories just has a really good soundtrack. I don't really know how to put it. I haven't listened to it outside the context of the game, but it's one of those soundtracks that reminds me very much of Pokemon, which is fair because it's inspired by Pokemon, the monster collecting stuff. I really like some of the themes for the overworld, like the snow world. I like in the beginning world. I like the battle themes for bosses. I don't know any of their names, but they're all genuinely good songs, and that's what I really like about it. It's just good songs and a good game, and that's all that I focus on when I'm playing like Pokemon/Nintendo inspired RPGs. That's all I'm looking for. I'm not looking for a good JRPG. I'm looking for something to move my thumbs and have fun with. Best multiplayer though? Black Ops 6. I don't know what to tell you. Best game that came out a previous year? I'm gonna go with a weird pick, and I'm gonna say Senran Kagura Burst Renewal. Now, Senran Kagura Burst Renewal, I first played in 2023. However, I got the Platinum Trophy this year, so I'm gonna say I beat it this year. And the thing with Senran Kagura, and the reason I love it so much, is it's a button masher to the core. All you can really do in that game is just press buttons and fight enemies. However, that's what makes it so genius. It is a button masher through and through. There's lots of different playstyles with the different type of characters in the game that make the game really fun and really accessible for all types of players. There's higher difficulties, there's a lot of unlockables, there's genuine things to go after, like 100% completion feels nice to get. I'm also a fan of the fact you can dress up the girls. What? It's just an all-around solid game I recommend to everyone who wants a mindless beat-em-up that they can waste time with, especially if you have a Vita. Playing the Vita games is probably best because you can play one mission and set it down, then play one mission later and set it down, because it's very pick up and play. Which kind of doesn't work in console games, but it works in Senran Kagura, and I'm not exactly sure how to explain why. But that is it. That is the end. The end of uploads this year, the final video for TevhoBend for the year. I appreciate all the support I've gotten my way from every single person who watches my channel. 101 subscribers, multiple videos with over 150 views, over 100 views. And the only videos to truly fail were because I was a fucking idiot and didn't properly tag them. I absolutely love YouTube. YouTube is one of my favorite things to do because it's just really fun. It's just really fun to upload videos and just talk about shit. I like being an entertainer. I like entertaining people, and YouTube is probably the most fulfilling way to do that, in my opinion. It's been a nice year. It's been a nice year, and I appreciate everyone who watched. So, for the last time this year, did you guys agree with our opinions? Did you guys disagree with our opinions? Are you here to leave a dislike? Well, no matter what you're here for, why not like, comment, favorite, and please subscribe to my YouTube shizzle. This has been TevhoBend, and I will see you guys next year. Peace. Have a cringe smile.